Jurak Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Jurak Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.
So greetings worldwide. Jurak worldwide. That's because everybody in the world does and can drink this wonderful preparation, which we call the Youth Solution. Now, I'm talking to the world, so you folks in Australia or South Africa or Europe or Asia, wherever you may be listening to this podcast, I want you to understand your bodies and ours over here and everybody's around the world, they are all the same. Everyone functions the same. And you will probably know and remember that the first 30 years, maybe even 40 years, you never go to a doctor. Everything seems to be fine. You poop good, you sleep good, you digest good. All of a sudden, maybe around 40, maybe a little older, sometimes a little younger, you have to go to the doctor and there's some kind of a crisis and they do something. They give you a medication or even maybe surgery. You just never know. But a lot of people, by the time they're 40, the bodies are starting to show that they're breaking down. And that's because they are. Look, I'm 88 now and my body's breaking down just as yours is and will for everybody around the world. Everybody is exactly the same. They all function the same. And then all of a sudden somebody says, "Look, we got this great medication. It's going to be good." So you take the medication, the therapy, the treatments, and I don't know, 5 years later, 10 years later, you're still doing it and you're still having the problem. It's under control, but you still have it, and when you stop any of those medications or treatments, all heck breaks loose. It's worse and worse. Then somebody says, "Why don't you try this youth solution, this preparation, this herbal product?" And you decide, I'm going to try anything. And all of a sudden, you start to feel better and better and better. And then the doctor says, "Wow, my stuff is working. Look at this. It's starting to work. You're getting better." Look, folks, I don't care if they take the credit for it. What we care here at the Home of Health is that you get well. Whether it's their treatment, our product, or anything you do with your diet, doesn't matter as long as you get well. And that's the story that we're going to talk about tonight because we have a guest who actually went through all of that and he felt so good that he stopped drinking the tonic. Well, let me ask him to tell his story. Carson, you've been doing this for so many years. Tell everybody everything right from the beginning.
Okay, well, I started the tonic in the 80s, and I just started taking it because of a friend of mine I worked on their vehicle. And anyways, I just started taking it, and she just kept pushing me to keep taking it. And what I noticed first was my stomach. I used to have stomach problems. I'd stop in and get V8 juices and tomato, everything I could think of to try to settle my stomach down. And I started taking this tonic for a while, and after a couple of months, I says, "Wow, my stomach doesn't bother me anymore." And after time went on, I used to say, "I don't even know that I have a stomach anymore." And it used to bother me daily. And that was one of the first things that it did for me.
Were you taking any medications or anything to try and alleviate it or just trying with diet?
No, no medications and really not diet either. We were younger back then, just eating whatever we could. We were busy.
Sure.
And so I wasn't really taking anything for it. And anyway, but the tonic did take my stomach problems away.
How old were you then?
Well, that was what 20 some years, well, about 20
That
years ago.
was 40 years ago.
Okay, so that was so I would be in my four
You're
thirties,
in your 20s,
late 30s or
the
something.
late 30s. You're how old now?
78.
78, yeah, so, yeah, 38 or thereabouts, late 30s.
So, like you said, I got feeling so good, and then at the time was going on, business was kind of slowing down, and stuff was going on in your head, and this and that. But anyway, I got away from the tonic. I stopped taking it. I had taken it for 10 or 15 years prior to that. I'd been taking it, and then I quit. And I was in good health. I just went along just fine, fine, fine. Everything's fine. And then in 2023, I started having some issues with my stomach and this and that, and I end up in the hospital. And they told me my heart was only working 25 to 35%. And at that time, they wanted to give me medications, and I was taking them blah half. I do not like medications, so I just didn't take them very good at all. Even in my doctor's report, I tell the doctor, I'm not going to lie to him. I says, I just forget to take them. I don't take them. And when I do, they make me dizzy. I feel tired and dizzy, and I don't like that. So anyway, the medication they gave me, I just halfway took it. And then I got to the point they sent me in for to put in a fibrillator or whatever. They wanted to insert one of those, and I told them, "No, I'm not interested in that right now. Let's let it ride."
How long ago was this? Was this, like, 10 years ago or what?
No, this was
Oh, in 23.
no. Well, that's when they initially diagnosed me with it. And they
Uh-huh.
gave me one of those vests you put on, just start your heart if it stops, and I wore it about 2 days and threw that in the bedroom and never wore it anymore. I kept telling him, I said, "I feel fine. I can outwork half of these guys out here, these young guys. I feel good. I blah, blah, blah. I don't need this stuff." And that was my attitude, and that's the way I was. So anyways, I went on, and, my dog, started getting sick. I got a little Shih Tzu. She's 16 years old, and she was go down the walk a little bit and fall on her side, and her legs would start jumping, and she would start squealing and yelling, and I pick her up and hold her and this and that. Anyway, that went on a couple of times, and about the same time, I got on Facebook, and for some reason, this lady Jeannie popped in my mind. I saw her on the thing, and I go, I can't believe she's still alive because she's one of the people that I got on the tonic way back years ago before I quit taking it. And she had been taking it all this time. So I give her a call, and she was still there. She says, I have not missed a day. And she's still going. This lady had her aorta replaced and about 10 years ago. So anyway, I was surprised to see her alive. And at the same time, my dog was doing the jumping around, and for some reason, the JC Tonic popped in my mind for the dog because the first time I got the JC Tonic, my daughter's puppy dog had puppies, and there was one it wouldn't eat. It would just lay off to the side and do nothing. And my wife goes over there, and and she took the JC Tonic and put on her finger and put it on this dog's lips 2 or 3 times, and after a while, that dog that stuff tastes so bad, that dog's little tongue had to come out. So anyway, the little dog's tongue come out, and blah, 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 she put a little more, and the next thing they got it eaten, and then they turn around and says, "Well, Dad, you need to keep this dog because of, what went on with it," and we did. Her name was JC, and, named after JC Tonic, saved her life. So now this dawned on me with my dog that's having these seizures and stuff. And I called Anthony and talked to him. And he assured me that the tonic that I still had tonic left over, still have them in my drawer in there, tonic from way back then. So, and this is one of those bottles right here. This is that. And I was
That's like 10 years old.
Yeah, so anyways, I got some of this and I started giving it to my Shih Tzu, and believe it or not, the little dog, this has been a year, I think about a year, year and a half now, and that dog has no more problems like that at all. And she's, like I say, she's 16, and now you can even see that she's got a little bounce in her walk. She's walking better. She's looking better. Her eyes are brighter, and it's done wonderful stuff for her. And I just told Anthony, if that's all it's done, it saved me a fortune not taking her to the vet. And what it's done for my dog is just unbelievable. But anyway, I'm back on it again. And so now they tell me I have this heart problem. So I go back in the other day. This was on about 4 days ago, 5 days ago now. And I started drinking this tonic like all get out. got back in it, got the new stuff. And just the other day, they told me that my heart has gone back to normal. He says it's up to the extraction or whatever they call that, the number, where the pumps the blood out is up to 55 to 60%, which is normal. And
And it was what was it before?
25,
35,
25,
25.
35. And they think it's the pills, but they don't know. I only halfway took those pills, and half the time I just missed them and everything. But I started drinking this JC Tonic day and night, and the next thing they told me, the other day, they told me that my heart was in good shape. I'm in good shape. I don't need that little pacemaker they were talking about or whatever. And I come out of that office crying. And I actually called Anthony before I got home and was telling him about it. But I'm excited about that. That's flat making me feel like $1 million now.
No kidding. Holy cow, what a story. See, at your age, there's tons of people that have that kind of a situation, and they're not turning around. But if the doctors think it was the pills you took, that's okay. That's funny. I mentioned that in my introduction that that sort of thing happens, and now you're telling me that's exactly what they said. They thought it was their pills. I didn't know you were taking medications.
Well, yeah, I was just like I say halfway, but I never really. I would take them maybe for a week or so and then blow them off. And anyway,
And nothing much happened until you started drinking the tonic.
until nothing did anything until I started taking the tonic, and that's I just got really I believe in it. I've been dealing with it forever, and I really believe in it. And I just started drinking this stuff day and night, and still recently, what I do is at night just before I go to bed, I'll get a big mouthful of it, and I'll just hold it as long as I can. And the reason I do that is because my sister uh, has started taking it, and her dentist told her cavity has gone away and her gums are in perfect shape. And she's been fighting gum stuff for quite a while.
And she's been, what, sloshing it in her mouth, I guess, before
Right.
she
So what I
swallows.
do is I hold it as long as I can in my mouth. I sit on the side of the bed, swallow it, and lay down. And it makes me sleep like a baby all night long.
So
So
you
I
take that just before you hit the sack. That's
just
great.
before I hit the sack, and if I do wake up during the night to go to the bathroom or whatever, I'll go right back and take another big old swig, lay back down again.
So at 78, where you're outside, I know you're a boat repair fellow, and you're still doing it.
Oh, every day. I was up until like 10:30 last night. I had a boat I had finished. It went out. I had another one come in, and so yeah, I work on them. And another thing too that keeps me going. I mean, I don't sit. I'm up in the morning. I'm in and out of those boats and up and down the ladders, and I just keep going and going and going. And
And some of that work, when you have to get drive shafts and motors and stuff, it must be, well, you got to get under the boat or what?
Well basically, I always say I make my living on my knees, but on a lot of these a lot of these inboards, you're on your knees because the engine is in the back, up underneath the cowling, and sometimes you're on your head. You gotta bend your head, you gotta upside down in that thing to get down up underneath it. Um, can you imagine changing the oil in a car where the drain plug is? In a boat, the drain plug's way down there, and the oil filters and all that stuff. Anything you do starter is like crazy to put on one of those. But anyway, that's what I do all day.
And you do it all day, and you do it the next day, and that means you have loss of energy, and maybe it has to do with drinking the tonic.
Definitely, I know it does. I know it does. Yeah, I
Well,
like I say I'll take big swigs of that, and I'll go on out there and do what I got to do. And actually, lately in the last couple of weeks, I mean, I even my whole body just feels better. It feels like I don't know how. I just all my muscles and everything just feel good, like they want to work. You know what I mean? They don't. Yeah, I feel a lot better.
Well, most people at our age, I'm 10 years older than you are, but from your age going forward, or well before 78 years old, people are breaking down. Their muscles are collapsing. They can't do very much. They're huffing and puffing, and they have trouble just even doing the the smallest amount of exercise. So if you're doing what you're doing still and getting under boats, crawling around, and your body feels like that, what can be the difference between you and them? The only thing I can think of is swilling the JC for all these years.
Right. And my daughter, got my daughter taking it, and she's a diabetic to the point she was getting shots in her eyes. And I think they did it every month. And she's been taking it now for, oh, maybe 6, 8, 9 months or whatever. And she called me the other day. She's almost whining, and she goes, Dad, they told me I don't have to come back every month now. I can start coming back every 6 months because her eyes are getting better. And that's all she's done different and that tonic. I pushed this tonic on. I said, she takes a bottle at work. She got a bottle at home. I said, you make sure you get a couple ounces of that down every day.
Oh, that is
It's
good.
done
Yeah,
tremendous.
you mean to say she had to get shots every month? For how long had that been going on?
Oh, well, her eye thing has been going on for, oh, I would say 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
Oh my good lord! And every month for 10 years?
Well, she just got to the point. I mean, she wasn't getting shots for 10 years, but they were, doing whatever they do to your eyes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then after a while, they got to the point she had to get shots in her eyes. I said, "I had never heard of that before. That seemed like that would hurt." But
Wow.
anyway, she was, getting shots, and they were giving them to her every month. And now they've moved it to, I think, every 6 months that she needs them. So her eyes are getting better, she can see better, and,
Well, I
so it
gotta get her on a podcast and get her story. That's gonna be a another rip-roaring one. You've got someone else, your daughter, I think you mentioned. Oh, that's your daughter, or your sister.
Oh, well, my sister Tina, she's the one I was talking about that has, cavity went away and her gums are better.
Oh, yeah.
And she also has, feeling better. She has some other couple things too that, something about her leg or something that was hurting, and that's better now. And her husband, he's 83 or 4, and she told me, says he went to the doctor the other day, and the doctor looked at him and says, "You're gonna live to 100 years old. His blood pressure is perfect
Wow.
age, and he takes no medication at all, period. All he takes is this tonic."
Wow, that is great. Well, Carson, you better get the rest of everybody's family on it because it seems to be working for all of you, whatever it does. But everybody listening to this podcast, that's exactly what this is all about. For those of you who have never heard about the JC Tonic, it really is a miraculous preparation that works for everybody, for everything, because it works through changing the chemistry of the blood, and that, of course, touches every part of the body. So, no matter what you may be suffering of, and even if you're under doctor's care and taking medication and feeling not bad, you can feel a lot better, maybe even an awful lot better, and maybe have the kind of improvements in health like Carson is talking about, because that's what happens to everyone. And Carson, we go back a long time, and I remember when you started drinking at the beginning. You're like a lot of people. After they feel so great, they stop drinking because they think maybe that's it. They don't know it. But look, our bodies continue to break down, and as we say, grow old, and that happens to you, to me, to everybody. And mine is growing old as well as yours, except more slowly. And yours is growing old more slowly than the next person at your age who does not drink the JC. So, folks, make it part of your life, make it part of your grocery bill. It'll save you an awful lot of money in healthcare over the years. That one you can take to the bank. So, Carson, I really appreciate it. I know there's a lot more you can probably talk about, but you look fantastic for 78. You're still doing all that boat repair stuff like you were a much younger man. And I think that's a testament to what the tonic has done for your body, keeping it younger. We call it the youth solution.
Definitely,
Uh,
and you have to be consistent with it. You can't expect a bottle or 2 to do anything to you for really. I mean, some people feel better with a bottle or 2, but it takes take getting in your system. You know, I listened to Bruce Fife, I think it was, and he talked about that tonic just touches all the bases and all the little piece things, your minerals, all the things that the cells need to grow. And this, your diet doesn't have all that, and this tonic just touches every one of those and fills all those little spots in to where your cells can flourish and build like they should.
well, that was either Dr. Bruce or Dr. Dan Mowry, but both of them are on our website. So those of you who are able to get to the website, there's an awful lot of great information. But that's exactly what it was and what my dad had figured out all those many years ago. Hey, our Carson, you don't realize it, but it's over 80 years since my dad first started to commercialize this. Imagine this has been used by people for 80 years.
And your dad looked good even when he was up in age. I met your dad a few times.
We have a photo of him at 86. He doesn't even have gray hair. Heck, heck, I had gray hair before 86. He didn't even have any gray hair. It was incredible. So
Yeah.
it does indeed work, and all those people over the years, and it's still here, and it's still doing well. The only reason it's still here and on the market is because it works. If it didn't, how could you get people to take it? It doesn't taste so great. But for those of you who are looking for something that tastes nice and yummy and sugary and sweet, this ain't it. But it'll sure keep you younger.
Well, you can always mix it with something too. You don't have to drink it straight, right?
Well, absolutely. You can mix it with anything. There's one story I just have to tell you because it's worth for everybody to hear. A lady called one day and she said, "My husband works hard. He comes home around 5 o'clock or 5:30, and he starts drinking his whiskey. And after 4 or 5 whiskeys, he gets angry and he screams at me and he's not nice to me at all. Will this help him?" I said, "It sure would." So she bought a whole bunch of bottles and called me a couple of weeks later and said, "It doesn't work." Well, I said, "What do you mean?" Well, she says, "Well, actually, he won't take it." I said, "Well, no, it won't work if he doesn't take it." I said, "You have to use your ingenuity. I don't know what and how, but get him to drink it." So I didn't hear from her for a while. And about 3 months or 4 months later, she called and she said, "He is nice as pie." And I said, "What did you do?" She said, "I took his whiskey bottle every time he had a new one. I took out 8 ounces of whiskey, poured in 8 ounces of JC Tonic, and every time he took a shot, he didn't realize it was diluted with JC Tonic." Imagine. And she said he's nice as pie now. He still drinks his 4 or 5 whiskeys, but he's a beauty now. And I thought, look, if you can even mix it in whiskey, it works. Don't worry, you can mix it in anything.
Exactly. Well,
So,
this
but
has been
Carson,
able
I
to save me a
appreciate.
fortune and doctor
Huh?
bills. And again, with my dog, I mean, that has whatever that has just made my life. I've been with that dog. I've had him since 16 years old. So I've a 16-year-old Shih Tzu, and I just love him to death. And what that tonic's done for him is like unbelievable.
And there's a couple 100 million people just in this country alone that feel that way about their pets. So, folks, you with pets, you want your dog to stay healthy. Don't wait until it's falling over. Start now, and you can get all the info you want from home office. You don't give it an ounce a day like oh, I have a dog that's say 8 years old. She gets an ounce. I put it in maybe a cup or a cup and a half of milk. That was our pal Betty that told me. Well, we have a great audio testimonial from her. She had a cat with feline leukemia. Put tonic in some milk every day, and before you know it, the eyes were cleaning up, the nose was. I mean, so it'll do miracles for your animal. Get started right away.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, Carson, I see you got lots of boats ahead of you to get going on today. So thank you very, very much for the call and pretty much appreciate it. It's going to help a lot of people.
Okay, take an ounce and feel the bounce.
Okay, take an ounce and feel the bounce. We'll talk with you soon. That's the same story that we hear from hundreds, thousands of people over the years. Something about their health turning around. This is not a cure. It's not a cure for a heart, whatever. I don't know what his heart problem was, but whatever it is, it seemed to turn it around. So it's not this tonic that goes and does something with the heart, like the medication of the doctors. It's something that affects the heart directly. This does not affect the heart or any other part of the body directly except the blood. And then the blood gets better and more healthy and is better able to look after your body. That's the principle. So you clean up the blood supply, it can oxygenate better, it can deliver hormones better, it can clean out the junk and the debris that collects in your body. And it works better like when you were younger because the blood is pretty clean until you're maybe 40 or 50 sometimes, or maybe older. But generally, people start to feel a little problems here and there because their body is starting to get clogged up and cluttered up, and mostly because the blood is starting to collect too much junk in it. And when you give blood, if your blood is anywhere from maroon to even black, you know it's because it's dirty, it's full of junk, it's like a sewer system. And we have folks now who take photos of their blood when they get blood workup or they donate blood. And after a few months or a couple of years, their blood all of a sudden is bright red. That's because it's cleaned up. And you don't have to worry about your diet or stop this or stop that. Your body will tell you it doesn't want any more junk food or it wants something better. So you'll start eating more salads, more fruit, and so on. It happens automatically because the body will just tell you what it wants. It'll know. You'll know. It's amazing what our brain and body and this beautiful thing called the human body can really do when it's really firing on 8 cylinders or maybe 12 cylinders. But when it's firing on 7 or 6, when it's supposed to be firing on 8, you start feeling really lousy. And that's when a crisis happens. Don't wait for it to happen. Do the maintenance, an ounce a day. You're going to keep that doctor away. Okay, so nice to see you. Thank you very much. And we will see you soon. As Carson said, take an ounce and feel the bounce. Bye for now.